Hey everyone, Updog here. Today I got a special guest with me, Doolam. How's it going, Doolam?
Oh, it's going great. I'm excited for season
Yeah,
7. New rules,
yes,
new defenses.
we are
Super
excited.
excited.
We're both really excited. We're both really big into Crucible, so we wanted to do this graphic together and do this video together. We're gonna do a video on Doolam's stream. We're gonna talk about how to counter these suggested teams. Now he did help me with the teams as well, so he's gonna tell us how to counter these teams. But we're gonna go over some of the suggested defenses that we thought would be good based on our playtesting in the test server and just our general knowledge of Crucible and the rules and everything. So first off with the global rules, do you want to go over those real quick, Dylan?
So it's going to surround Cabal, obviously, because Cabal is the newest Crucible team. So on offense and defense, with vulnerable and successful hit, apply vulnerable up to a max of 5. So that's just feeding into their vulnerable mechanic, and also they get that extra 10% damage per vulnerable, maxing at 30%, which is really nice. And then villain characters on turn, if there's a Cabal ally, barrier, 10% max health. So just giving more survivability to Cabal while we have them at lower stars for the free-to-play/pay. So it's going to make them a little bit more survivable this season until they're farmable and we can get some more stars on them. And then it's the normal 20% max health on defense, 10% damage, and then the exhaust mechanic as per usual.
Yeah, I definitely like how they utilize one special team for the global rules. Every season they've done that. The free-to-play will make use of this for a little while. We don't know how long this season's going to last, but hopefully, I don't know. What did you like the shorter season 6, or do you wish it was a little bit longer?
It's hard. It's hard to find the balancing act. I think it was perfect where it's at right now. I think 7-8 weeks is about as good as we can get with how prescriptive or how little prescriptive the rooms have been. So I think it's honestly been kind of perfect this season, because it's getting to the point now where even with Cabal coming out, it's getting almost a little stale, but like Black Knight coming in, reinvigorated everything. Everybody was changing something every day. We put SD Noir back on defense. Like, there were a lot of things changing. Like, I was able to change my defense every week based on information I was getting from the week before, which that's the first time we've been able to do that for 8 weeks straight.
Yeah.
And I think 7 to 8 weeks is the sweet spot for Crucible. If they can keep this up, this is the way they should do it for sure.
Yeah, and I enjoyed. I know you and Juice T worked on. I like to work on teams at the start of the week. I enjoyed doing the counter videos at the end of the week, saying, "Hey, here's what I saw this week. This was a Juice T and Doolam team, and this is what I did with that." So that's kind of cool to do it, for me anyway, to do it that way. So
yeah, absolutely.
So for room 1, I'm going to just a little bit
Get out of the way, Updog. God.
I know. That's my life story. So room 1, we're gonna have skirmishers apply ability block on successful attack. So if they're blind, it won't land ability block. If there is a striker or raider, they will, and if they have ability block. So if a striker or raider has ability block, strikers are going to gain 50% damage. Raiders are going to clear the ability block and heal for 10%. So, oops, I forgot to change my ISO here on good old Forge here. So I think we need to make Forge a raider. And then, do the extreme Dorm team. I switched Dorm to a raider. And although you might want to have him as a striker, because with his passive, if he has ability block, then he gets like 80% turn meter, I think, or something. So it might be nice to have him as a striker to get that extra damage. And then, everybody else either raider or striker on this team anyway. So what about the... what do you think of that room, Dylan?
I think this defense is going to be a problem, because the best way to beat Extreme is by controlling them, right? Whether it's with Hive Mind, with MOE, you've got those... you've got the Titania ult that puts the disrupt and the ability block on people, stuff like that. And then you've got Void Knight ability block. You've got Super Scroll with his special for the ability block. Like, if you can't control this team, they become a lot more problematic very quickly, because Forge will just clear that ability block, right? because it's going to be interesting to see how that works, honestly, and how it kind of plays in.
Yep.
It's definitely going to be interesting. I'm really curious about this room and to see how hard this team really is. And I know obviously a lot of things are going to change after week 1, but I'm excited for this room for sure.
Yeah, and then keep in mind, these are our first impressions. Just like I said, look, based on what we've done in the test server and just our general knowledge of the game. So, but we feel like we've come up with some pretty solid teams here that should last for most of the season. You know, depending on what other characters come out and how they affect the meta and stuff. So what about
Infinity Watch is going to be good here too. Infinity Watch is going to be pretty nuts here because Nebula turn 1 can put an ability block on everybody if she chains the right way. Because it's not just the primary target; it's everybody that's getting hit. So Nebula with the ult can literally put a 5-man ability block out turn 1, which could be kind of nuts. Just to make Infinity Watch better, like we had to do that for any reason.
Yeah, and if for some reason like Gamora gets ability block, then she'll get some extra damage, and that's just gonna be crazy. So, all right, so let's see, room 2. We have. So it's a raid room again, basically. Yay! We love raid rooms, right?
Woohoo! Yeah, this was something when they told us about it.
Yeah, we definitely had a lot of feedback for this when they told us this was going to be a thing. We told them, "Hey guys, do you remember what happened in season 4? I think it was.
Yeah.
With Bifrost being crazy, resisting everything." So they did take our feedback on that. They lowered the resistance and healing in the room. Other than that, just completely counts as a raid. So we came up with Bifrost. We want to see if the resistance actually is reduced and a problem, you know. But also Pegasus does gain a lot of turn meter on spawn, so they could be a good option too. What do you think? In your testing, what have you come across in this room?
I haven't seen a Bifrost. I'm assuming the 50% resistance is going to be a factor that makes Bifrost kind of non-existent, unless somebody just went nuts on their Sylveon like G18 and got like a 3-diamond pull. But I don't even think that's going to be problematic, honestly, especially because we'll have other options to kind of deal with them now. Like Hive Mind's a really great team for raids. Obviously, Pegasus was doing great things against Bifrost on defense the last week when Pegasus came out in the season that we had this. So Pegasus was doing good things as long as you took out Kestrel and put in APOC. Obviously, Extreme is going to be another good option here. And then obviously Pegasus on defense is another good option too. But it's any of the raid teams. We have Spider Society coming out too, and they could be nuts in this room. Like on it, they could be absolutely nuts because Noir has his Crucible callouts and then also has his raid callouts now that got added to the kit. So it's gonna be interesting to see if Spider Society goes nuts in this room, which I honestly think they will.
And we haven't had a chance to test them since they're so new in that room. I think the turtle option is probably going to be Pegasus, don't you think? And Bifrost is more of the overall general option, I guess.
Yeah. I think Extreme is just better other places. As you can see, we have them in 1 and 3. We separated them. So I think Extreme is just better to be separated in the 2. Pegasus, I think, would be like your best turtle option. And then Bifrost is just kind of that secondary option that's more budget, so you can keep Kestrel and Pegasus for offense as well.
It's kind of like the rock, paper, scissors thing. Like if you put Pegasus on defense, what are you going to use to beat it? But if you have Bifrost on defense, then at least you can have Pegasus to counter that. So
right, and if you see Pegasus on defense, obviously there are options. We'll talk about those in my video, but there definitely are options for sure.
Right. Yep. So room 3, we have on turn if a character has taunt, gain offense up, and on turn apply assist now to all allies with offense up. So this was was it room 1 we had? Was it like season 5 or something? It's kind of like that, something like that. So Echo might be important in here, at least on offense, but Doolin will probably talk about that. But we just threw in Unlimited with Bishop on here. There's a lot of other options you could throw in with unlimited. Like you could put in place of Phantom X, you could put a Phoenix, you could put a Jubilee if you wanted to put with Bishop, because Jubilee and Bishop have some good synergy there. So what are your thoughts on that room?
Yeah, this room is going to be interesting to see what we can find. The problem is the one room that's going to counter this that we'll talk about in my video, everybody has big, but it deleted everything in this room. So I feel like Unlimited is a good a good primary option to have in here just to soak up a pretty decent offensive team. Because you're not gonna use Unlimited on offense anywhere, so you're not losing anything from offense. And then we have secondary options of Undying, because obviously Zuggernaut spawns with the taunt. That just turns into Eternals food, so you kind of have to take the good and the bad with it. And then Gamma could be an option as well, because you obviously have the Hulk taking taunting pretty often, and then She-Hulk can taunt as well. So it's just other options. This room looks really good on paper. Unfortunately, we have a team that kind of just slots in here on offense that was pretty much deleting everything. Yeah.
So one other thing that I did notice, me personally anyway, well maybe Doolin can comment too, but in room 3 that kind of screams to you like the rules screams Black Knight. Use Black Knight here, but Black Knight did not do well at all in this room, just because of the assist now, the offense up. Now if you had like a Black Knight and Echo on defense, that might be okay, but you kind of want Echo on offense, I think. But we'll see what Doolin says on his video on that. Did you have any testing with Black Knight in room 3?
Black Knight got deleted. Just all the assists, all the offense ups. Black Knight was just getting one shot, essentially. Even like massive Black Knights that we have on the playtest, he's just getting deleted. And then Cabal makes that even easier.
Yeah, 11 7 red, gear 18. Yeah, he was just getting destroyed on turn 1.
It didn't matter. Yeah, it didn't matter, unfortunately. So it looks like he's not going to be the best here, even though this room on paper looks like, oh, we're just going to throw Black Knight in here with 4 idiots and hope for the best.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it does not look like that at all.
Yep. So just wanted to point that out, make sure, that's not a great option. All right, room 4 was, in my testing, was pretty crazy. Like, Valley put a super turtle defense in there. So what it is it's all villain characters. The ultimate abilities cost 2 less energy, and but the villains also have their max health reduced by 25%. So like what I saw, I think even you, Doolin, you had like a Mephisto, APOC, Skrull, all the
Doom.
villains.
I threw everything in there. I did.
So for that kind of team, I had to sack it, and then I think I went in there with Cabal or something. But just to make it a little more applicable to more people for the graphic, we put in Superior 6. There's still going to be a great defense in this room. What other options do you think we got in that room?
Obviously Superior 6. I think the Vulture over Spider Slayer is good, because Vulture is going to ult turn 1. So he can rewind right off rip. If you bring in a lot of heroes, he's going to get that turn meter as well. Other options, the Black Order is going to be good again here. Just like they were last season in room 3, I think it was, because Black Order gets the ults early. Vulture in here with Black Order is going to be good over Corvus, because Vulture is going to turn 1, rewind, and just make it so Black Order goes even faster. And then if you've got a big Thanos, Thanos ults and people have 25% less health, villain characters. So Thanos could get to deleting with a big Vulture. And that's just a budget option. You're not using Black Order anywhere on offense. And then Skrull is a potential on defense here. The problem is Cabal just neuters Skrull so much. But you could throw in Skrull with like 4 other just B to C tier villains to soak up their Cabal, and then they can't use Cabal elsewhere. So it's another option, but it just depends on what you have on offense and what we're going to talk about in my video as well to counter certain things. But I think Black Order is going to be a pretty good team if you have them built up. So I definitely would look into them if you want to keep Superior 6 for offense.
Definitely, yeah. That Black Order Vulture team is like the rewind me to hell type team.
Yeah, literally.
All right, so room 5, we have characters with blind get their speed reduced by 5% and armor reduced by 25%, and then their ultimate abilities apply blind to the primary target. So there can be quite a few options in here. I think Infinity Watch personally is best, so that way you protect from being blinded for the first couple of turns, and you can get ahead because Nebula will do her ult. Let's see, Gamora will do her ult second turn, and Phyla second turn. But yeah, it's just, I think it'll be a good defensive option. What do you think, Doolin?
Yeah, I mean, obviously they have that immunity, safeguard, defense up. I mean, we've been saying it for 2.5 years now. Like, Infinity Watch is still nuts. Yeah. They're just gonna keep surviving. Yeah. I mean, they could be placed as a pretty good option in 1 or 5, and that just shows how good of a team they are. I think the Infinity Watch not being able to get the blinds right off rip is really nice, and obviously even if they do have the blinds, Phyla can clear it. So this team is just still a nuisance, and they're going to be an efficiency sink. And then obviously Nebula ults turn 1, Gamora ults turn 2, I think Phyla's turn 2, Moondragon's turn 3, Adam Warlock's turn 2. So it's very spread out as well. So it's a lot of different times that blinds are going to be put out, which is really nice. The other options we had, obviously, so we have Darkhold and Black Knight in there. We were trying to find uses for Black Knight somewhere, and this makes Darkhold a little bit harder.
Darkhold,
and then
their ults, a lot of them.
Yeah.
Every turn one.
Every turn.
For them, they do their ults, so.
Yep, they ult turn 1 everywhere, which is really nice. And then we have Infestation as well, because they ult a bunch turn 1. Big Time obviously goes at like 170 speed right off rip. Yep. He's going to ult. I think Swarm ults turn 1 maybe. Swarm ults turn 2. Yellow Jacket was turn 1. Right, and then Ant-Man's also turn 1, but they're different varyings of speed as well, so it changes a lot. Right. And then that Ant-Man ult is, not only is it gonna ult, he's gonna put the slow out, and then the blind that puts out with the ult is also gonna add another 5% slow, so it's like a slow and a half, which is really interesting. So it could be interesting if somebody has a massive infestation to just soak up efficiency, honestly, because they're just ulting and you can't do damage when you're blinded. So it's definitely interesting. And then Infinity Watch on offense just isn't worth it, unfortunately. So it's worth it to put him on defense.
Right. Yep. All right. So then last room 6, we have on crit apply bleed to the primary target, and then if there's a Ghost Rider on ally, could be offense or defense. They gain, if they have bleed, so that the Ghost Rider has to have bleed, they gain 20% armor, and then 20% crit chance to all allies. So it could technically be a blank room, but hey, everybody's got a big Secret Defenders, so might as well throw them in there. If you, I don't really recommend Cosmic Ghost Rider or OG Ghost Rider. Really, I mean, you could play around with some other combinations with like Morgan if you wanted to, kind of like what we're seeing in Arena, where she's spreading bleeds and stuff. But we think this is still a pretty solid defense. Now Noir is getting a rework, so we'll see how that affects things. If if you're going in here with new warriors, it's not gonna change much. But what other options we got in 6?
First of all, Noir to the moon. First of all, he's gonna be great. But yeah, we have other options. Is it's kind of a hybrid of the Out of Time and then 2-piece Gamma. So you got Red Hulk and A-Bomb. A-Bomb gives that max health. You could also throw Green Hulk in there. So Red Hulk has that safeguard immunity on turn 1. Again, just people that we see crit a lot, and then being able to use that 3-piece Out of Time as well, because Black Knight gets that extra health on defense. So he's a really good defensive character. And then if you really, really, really want to be just a bad person, you could put in Cabal with Black Cat and Ghost Rider Robbie. That's just going to be kind of nuts. That's going to be a ridiculous defense. Obviously, Robbie doesn't get the benefits from the villain because he is a hero, but the bleeds and the extra crit chance that he gives to allies is really nice.
Yeah.
And this room is pretty good for Cabal just because of all the crit damage and stuff like that that's going out because they're very crit focused.
Yep.
The only other place I'd say Cabal might go is in room 4 with 2 other big hitters, but I think Cabal is offense for
definitely.
a while to as another kind of master key team for sure.
Yep, definitely. All right, well, let me know down in the comments what you guys think of the new rules. I'm excited about it. Looking forward to seeing some other theory crafted teams. And go check out Doolim's channel. We'll show you how to counter these teams, and I'll be putting this graphic up in my server. You know, Doolim, you're more than welcome to do that as well, obviously. But
Awesome.
yeah, we will catch you over there on Doolim's channel. Thanks for stopping by here, Doolim.
Yeah, buddy, absolutely. Thanks for having me.